That's what the logic I used. Yes, sir. No, it's a empirically tested. Like say, the research is there which proved that the project duration or the task duration do follow beta distribution. Yeah, and that's true. Yeah, yeah. Around 19. Yes. Only, yeah. So we generate random number and then we convert that random number into a beta distributed duration. So that random really doesn't mean that it's going to be any random number. It's going to be between these two numbers, 13, 3 and 14, like for task H, and so on and so forth. So the yeah. Beta distribution or Excel? So it's like a mathematical transformation. So really, like why I could have actually avoided alpha and beta directly. I could have put the formula in the beta distribution with A, M, and B, but that's going to be very big formula. So normally in a mathematical equation we say let's assume x squared plus 2x plus y is equal to z, and then you solve the problem, and then I can input it at the end. So that's what we did here. So, but however, this alpha and beta are the terms defined in the research papers, which governs the beta distribution. Two variables and simple formula. Simpler formula. Yes. Three to two and a simpler formula. Yeah. No, only two more things and. B 6. So that gives you an expected time.
66%, so 4 divided 6.
Yeah. That's a. So if I have a expected time only, then again I'm living with only one time duration. But here we are accepting this range. Now, friends, here just yeah. No, it's still it is still being developed. So I'm actually, my purpose of sharing this here was that in real life if we can apply and we can see any benefit, I would be happy to use that. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, it's a simple worksheet. Now here the insight what I want to put forward is that we can answer one question, that required project is in 50 weeks, 87% chance. That's one of the outcome of this. But let's look at here, M. This task was supposed to be critical 100% of the time. Now it will be only 79% of the time. And this task N, which was not critical earlier in CPM method, it can become critical in 32% of the chance. So my project management is not only going to focus on critical tasks, but the tasks which can become critical, and also to reduce the project or to increase this confidence level, I have to focus on this range. So I have to go and ask this person, why you need 8 weeks as a pessimistic scenario? What are the risks you are anticipating? Let's try to mitigate those risks. Let's try to reduce this 8 to a number near to 4. And that's how the risk mitigation will convert into a quantification. Yes, basically quantifying, like say quantifying it. And vice versa also. So something which you have quantified as a risk in your risk planning, convert that into a number and put those numbers here as a pessimistic numbers. If the risk is very high, your pessimistic number is going to be a bigger number. and accordingly it will impact the project duration. Yeah, I think that's the last slide, yeah. Sure. Right. Right. Right, right. Right. Buffer, yeah. Right. Yeah. So like here, right, right, right. So let's say in a project we have a 5 parallel chains, okay, and in one of the chain we have 5 tasks. If I'm understanding correctly, we don't want to put the buffer on each of the tasks. Yeah. Okay, why? Because because situation is that if I put in all the 5, I'm assuming that all the 5 will be the worst case scenario. The probability of that is very, very small. So hence, I would like to evaluate the whole chain, and in the whole chain, because some of the tasks will go on a pessimistic, at that time some will go on optimistic, and that will cover up. So I want to identify that scenario. So these numbers which I've worked out only for the task, I can add a few more rows which will sum up the numbers for a chain. And for a whole chain, what was the project or the chain length spread? If the spread is too big, I need to put some cushion. If the spread is too small, the cushion is the amount of cushion required will be less. We have to keep. Yeah. Right. And also you can see there are some zeros here, right? So the chain which having more number of zero as a critical task, those tasks is never going to be critical even if they are on the worst side. And that's why the buffer is not required for those chains. That's it. Yeah, so right, right. So basically we are saying instead of putting here it's a pessimistic scenario, so considering all the buffers.
Okay, I think there are a lot of questions and a lot of interesting discussions happening. But in the interest of time, maybe we can take these questions during the lunch session. Yeah. So right now, I would like to call upon Falguni Rolikar, who is VP Outreach, PMI Mumbai chapter, to give a token of appreciation to Dinesh Panchal, an MIMS professor.
Thank you very much.
It was a great session.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Right now, we will have sessions from Symbiosis Institute of Operations Management, Nasik. So in their college, they had conducted a competition, and out of 7 projects, there are 2 papers which were awarded. And we would start off with the winner presentation project, which is a garbage compactor by Aditya Sharma and Akshika Ratan. So may I please welcome them on the stage, garbage compactor.
Yeah, hi. So I am Akshika Relin, and my colleague Aditya Sharma would like to thank PMI Mumbai chapter for giving us an opportunity to present our project idea on the topic garbage compressor. So we'll be sharing this idea on behalf of Symbiosis Institute of Operations Management, which is a niche institute in operations based out of Nasik. So let's just speak about a few facts about India. So India is a huge country with about 1.4 billion of population and about 74.04% of literacy rate. So now the garbage that is dumped in India every day, it contributes up to 1 lakh metric tons every day. So now can you imagine if all this garbage is not composed properly and is dumped only in the landfills, what is the next step that is done? Obviously, it is burnt. So can you imagine the amount of the threat it is causing to the environment? So the answer is one simple word, it is drastic. As we can already see in the level of smog that is coming up in Delhi, and you can already see the bypass level of the bypass in Delhi, which has huge composition of garbage. So now we would be presenting our idea on garbage compressor. So as I've already shared with you the facts and figures, and about, as I've said that it's 1 lakh metric tons which is contributed of garbage which is dumped every day. The major contributors of the cities are Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore and Kolkata. As you can see in the graph, Delhi contributes the most of the garbage. So we have taken a few countries, and out of these countries, we can see that India has almost 87% of mismanaged waste. And what is the reason behind this mismanagement of waste? There is basically a process chart for this. First of all, there is overloaded dustbins. There is no timely pickup from those dustbins. Then we have the financial constraints. So every city has a municipality, and the municipality has been given some certain budget. Since the budget is not sufficient enough, so there is a minimum of transportation budget which is allocated for the pickup of the dump from these dustbins. The reason, as you can see here, since the dump is kept in the landfills, and the only solution we have nowadays is to burn the dump, we can see the 22,000 tons of pollutants every year, and this is only in Mumbai. So there are basically 4 problems in handling the waste. The first is dumping of waste. Second we have is segregation of waste. Third we have is collection and transportation. And the fourth one is treatment. So I'll be taking you across all these 4 parts, and then I'll be having a question for you guys. So when we speak about the dumping of waste, the very first problem is the unavailability of dustbins in all the areas. The second thing we have is lack of motivation amongst people. Since we know that Indians have a little bit of laid-back attitude, so we're not that motivated to dump it in the right place. The third one is underutilization of dustbins. That's again owing to the attitude of what our citizens have. As you can see, again we have the dump kept in open. So the second problem is segregation of waste. When I speak about waste, the waste is basically composed of 2 major units. That's a dry waste and a wet waste. So what's basically a dry waste? Anything which can be recycled, or the second part is which cannot be used any further. It's basically comes in the dry waste category. The second category what we have is the wet waste, which is basically the kitchen dump or the garden dump, which is compositable. So the collection and segregation of waste is actually cost and time consuming, and we do not have the acquired technology in today's era to actually segregate it in the first place of dumping at the source level. The third one is the desired results are not achieved since many waste treatment techniques require segregate waste as input. For example, if there's a waste, I have collected waste from any, let's say of any locality, and that waste is dumped. Now if it is not segregated into its basic components, it cannot be further utilized, whether it has to go to biogas plants or it has to be burned. So if that is not done at the source of decomposition, there is the problem. The third one we have is collection and transportation. So the collection of waste is basically done by 2 authorities, which is basically the government and non-government. So when we speak about government authorities, we have NGOs in place, we have municipalities in place, and when we speak of informal sectors, we have NGOs. For example, Project Shuddhi, which has been working on the sanitation and the collection of in the waste management all over India. So as we can see, the problems that we have in the informal sector is no protocols are followed. So it's not something which is mandatory for them, since they're doing it out of wish, so there's no particular protocol followed for that. And the second one what we have is municipality constraints. That's basically, again, as I've already mentioned, low budgets and the high transportation costs. So now that I've showed you 4 methods or 4 problems in handling waste, that's dumping, segregation, collection, and treatment. My question to you all is, what do you think is the biggest problem in India in handling waste out of these 4? Yes. So since segregation is the biggest problem because people are not aware as to what category of waste they're utilizing or they are dumping every day, that's why we have come up with the project of a garbage compressor. So to help our citizens understand this thing, Narendra Modi launched the scheme of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan in 2014, where he proposed the idea of keeping 2 different color bins at every location, at the source of decomposition of waste. So the first is the blue color and the second one is the green color. So whenever you see anything which is dry, let's say plastic, it has to be dumped into the blue color. And when we have anything which is like a garden dump or a kitchen dump, it has to go into the green color dustbin. But like I've already said that Indians lack the motivation and also the awareness as to what waste we are using every day. The scheme is successful but not as per what it was dreamt to be. So therefore, to just ease out the burden, we have come up with this idea. So what this project, what our garbage compressor does is, it will take the solid and it will take the waste, and based on the pressure that is applied to the waste, it segregates into dry waste and the wet waste, right? And whatever dry waste is there, further it is compressed into a certain volume that just uses minimum possible space. So I would like to show you the aim of the project using a video. So as we can see that the aim of the project is to segregate the dry and wet garbage and to supply the compressed garbage to process industries and recycling. So that's just easier for the industries who are basically treating this garbage. They already have it segregated in the first place. So our target audience is, so what we have tried is